Hello, I think we are live for the Xander Gibb Show for today's episode, but I never know until I can get the links. Yes, we're live on something, YouTube. Let's just see if we're live on Facebook. I mean Facebook. I don't know why I would make that mistake. Yes, we are live. So if you just joined us, we are in pre-production mode for we're called the Xander Gibb Show, believe it or not. And we have a great show coming up for you, as usual. If we can get the technology to do what it's supposed to do, and for everything to fall into place. Just sharing the show. Hello, Janie, early bird. How are you? It has been a very interesting day here today in the United Kingdom. I went out for lunch with my family for the first time, which was a bit weird, because there are all these kind of like direction arrows on the wall, on the floor, even wherever you go. So if you want to go to the bathroom, you kind of got to go backwards on yourself, which is really kind of weird in a wheelchair, because my brain automatically goes to, the quickest way to get to the bathroom, because you know what it's like. You know what I mean, ladies. When you want to pee, when you got to pee, you want to get there like as quickly as possible. So when you have arrows on the floor telling you have to kind of like go all the way around again, it's like, what if I don't get there in time? Especially, as you guys know, I am a wheelchair user. If I don't get there in time, it could be problematic. But it was nice. It was nice to go out and have lunch and have a nice steak and see the children. Because I hadn't seen them for such a long time. A long time. Actually, it felt like forever, which is sad, really, because one of the things that COVID has done is kind of divided families. And if you're anything like me, having like family contact with some family really does make a huge difference. Notice I said the word some family, because obviously some people are persona non grata. You know who you are. If you are watching us right now, we're live on the Xander Gibb Show, and we are just sharing the show to various places. If we can get the technology to do what we want it to do. Here we go. Let's click the share button. Make sure to put the volume off. Yes, thank you, Lord. I'm saying thank you, Lord, because when you can actually share to all of the groups and pages in one post, it really does save you a lot of hassle. Did anybody see the pictures of AOC today, where she wasn't wearing a mask, and after she'd pontificated to people about wearing a mask, she was blowing bubbles for a child, which I thought, after all they've said about spittle and what spittle can do, that she's sitting there, or kneeling there as she was, blowing bubbles for a child. It's just really, it's laughable now, because it has got to the case of do as we say, not as we do. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the live feed. The donkey? Janie is saying, which donkey are you referring to? Because I know lots. So yeah, what was I saying? So AOC, totally flaunting this ideology. Because the thing is, if you're going to insist on other people wearing masks, then you should be wearing them too. Because you can't kind of have it all ways, can you? You can't say one thing, because that would make you, what would that make you guys? It would make you, I was going to say a hypocrite, but actually what it would make you is a Democrat, because they have this ideology of do as I say, not as I do. So if you are watching and you're in the live feed, please press the share button, and share as in share the show, and not in the share as in if I could turn back time, because apparently you guys like me bursting into song during the show, so I'm happy to oblige. Chris said he saw AOC getting slapped around in her porno. Yeah, I saw that too. Oh, Daddy. Hello, my Gina. Welcome to the show. We are getting ready to go live, and we are going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Cue those opening titles now.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rifts. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and era don't dictate.
Well, hello. Welcome to today's fabulous edition of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from an undisclosed location, and it's not your mother's basement. It's not even my mother's basement. Bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nights a week. I'm Xander Gibb, and on tonight's edition, I get on my soapbox and give you the chance to get on yours too in our phone-in. And in part 2, I break down today's hottest topics with political commentator Tony Lasacco. You can have your say below in the live feed, and as usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go. And you can follow me on social media and check me out at xandergibb.com. Oh, yes, sirree. Let's come to the live feed. I have to have two. I never know whether to say more than one mouse, as in like a computer mouse. I never know whether to say it's mouse or mices or, but I have to have more than one, so I always fumble for them. Let's say hello to everybody who is in the live feed. Hello to Janie. Hello to Chris. Hello to my Gina. Hello to who else? Everybody that's watching but isn't actually in the live feed. Come join us. Come have your say. Thanks for all of the happy birthday wishes. I think I'm like the Queen of England. I have 2 birthdays because obviously on Facebook, like most people, I have to have more than one account, and you can't have them all with the same birthday. So my birthday is in January, but I will take all of the birthday love from you. Thank you very much. Hello to Maria. Welcome to you, and welcome to everyone who is watching. Breaking news. President Donald Trump has withdrawn the United States from the World Health Organization. I actually think that really is a step in the right direction from the perspective that China has been controlling the World Health Organization for long enough. And let's face it, both them and the CDC are in China's pocket, or China as we call it on this show. Got some problems with the lighting, but we will. There we go. I'm betting the lighting comes from China because that's why it's not working very well sometimes. Don't worry, Chris. Chris says he can't share because he's in Facebook jail. I'm sure a lot of people join you in that sentiment right now and are in Facebook jail too. I'm just trying to get the lighting right. There we go. Because otherwise it is blinding. But if you're not in Facebook jail and you can click the share button, please do so. What do you guys think about this? About the fact that President Trump has withdrawn the United States from the World Health Organization? Will he be seen as radical for doing this, or will he be seen as protecting the United States, which I think he really is? Because let's face it, it's too dirty for me. Fauci is too involved with the WHO and giving incorrect information. It is a huge concern for me. Hillary Clinton reckons she would have made a better job of handling the coronavirus. I mean, she couldn't even do her job as Secretary of State. She lost $6 billion, and her organizational skills are clearly lacking. Maybe they need to check the Clinton Foundation, too. Being a pathogen herself, wouldn't that have been problematic? America said no twice, Hillary. Get the damn message, because it wouldn't surprise me if she wants to run again. It is not out of the realms of reality for her to want to do that. Oh, no, it is not. Yes, happy birthday to Zanny G, because it's his birthday today. So we should honor my twin brother. Ha, ha, ha. Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly has video footage of Prince Andrew. She also has a log book and evidence. TikTok Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and all the others that rode on the Lolita Express. You know who you are. I bet there are some itchy feet both sides of the pond right now. Let's hope she makes it to the trial. Isn't it a worrying thing, though, really, that all of these kind of senior politicians and heads of state and everything else are kind of involved in this kind of behavior? Surely, we should be trying to stamp out these things, not having our heads of state. Oh, God, I'm so sick of this light flashing. I've got to pull the power cord out, see if that makes a difference. Making sure that I put the power cord out of the way so I don't spit on it and get electrocuted or get COVID or something like that from it. And it's still flashing, even now I've taken the power cord out. Black Lives Matter leader Toronto believes white people are subhuman, calls them genetic defects, and begs Allah to help her not kill white folks. Look what we've imported to Western culture, folks. Our social media posts regarding, I do beg your pardon, written by Black Lives Matter co-founder Toronto Yusra Gohali, are making the rounds this week. Yusra Gohali in 2016 wrote, "White people are a genetic defect of blackness," in a since deleted Facebook post. You see, the thing I can't kind of get over is that racism is unacceptable. Hi, CV. One side of the aisle. So it's unacceptable for white people to be racist towards black people. But what is the issue with this racism from black people towards white people, even to the point of beating them up in the street for absolutely nothing? I'm seeing videos all the time of black people attacking white people, saying it's part of their reparations. Well, do you know what the reparation is if you end up with a cap in your ass because you're seeking reparations as a black person by attacking white people? Then you're getting kind of what you deserve, as far as I'm concerned. Conserved? I have the wrong head on today, I'm sorry. So William Shakespeare wrote several plays which depict Jews and blacks in a very negative, stereotypical fashion. Will these be the next victims in order to pander to Black Lives Matter and the Black Lives Matter ideologies? Because I'm kind of tired of the way that everything that can be spun into racism. Oh, even this. I do this a lot because for me it means, perfect. That's correct. But apparently that's the symbol of white power, and I never knew that. So will I stop doing it because it's the symbol of white power? No, I absolutely won't, because for me it's the symbol of excellence, and I'll continue to do it. Welcome to the live feed, Jacob. Hello, chat. Don't worry about being late. We won't be getting a tardy slip from your mom or requiring one. It has been a very interesting day today. I've been doing my exercises 2 days in a row. I don't know if you've heard out there of Lucy Wyndham Reed. But basically, she's an exercise guru over here in the UK. And she's designed exercises for people who are in wheelchairs. So they're only like 5 minutes, but you can do them in a seated position. And already after 2 days, I feel that it's working my core. I'm not ready to show you my six-pack yet because I'd have to take you into the kitchen and open up my refrigerator, because that's where I keep my six-pack, folks. Because I have more a keg than a six-pack right now. But I'm getting there, and I believe I can do it. And the thing is that if I can do it, if Xander Gibb can lose 160 pounds, folks, on the keto diet, so can you. It is possible to do so. And the reason I talk about it so often, this damn light. The reason I talk about it so often is because I want to encourage you to be able to be your very best person too. Because the mental and the physical is so attached and so connected. So if you start to feel better physically, it will affect you mentally too. Do I slip up? Yes, I had a bar of chocolate tonight. But you are allowed chocolate on the keto diet, folks. You're allowed chocolate that's like 70% of cacao. And my friend said to me, oh, do you have one square or two? I'm like, no, it's an oblong. I have the full bar. I mean, the frickin' reality of having a bar of chocolate, how the heck can you just have like one or two squares? May as well leave it in the store if you're just going to have one or two squares. But it is all about balance, folks, and that's the thing. We are going to open up the phone lines now, so you can call us wherever you are in the world. If you are in the United States of America, you can call us on 845-363-4747. Or if you are in the United Kingdom, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5274. Thank you very much, CV, who says I look healthier every day. I actually feel it. Although my allergies are really bad today. Not only did it rain, but they cut the grass before it rained. So my brain just wants to go sniff all day. And my eyes are kind of watering, and it's not because of mascara, I assure you. Janie says, that hand single started with Trump. They tried to say he was singing, remember. Now he's doing the first thing. Oh, singling. Now he is doing the first thing, doing something about it. I'm not sure what you mean, Janie, but yeah, it is great that he's doing something about it. Chet says you have to be able to live crash diets are no good. Well, I will only be on this diet till the end of the year because I think although the keto diet is good, it is high fat. My cholesterol is higher. While I've been on the keto diet. But that will kill me far less quickly than being, 160 pounds overweight or even more than that. Because ultimately, you have to get through day by day. And have I eaten more while I've been in lockdown? Oh, yes, sir, but I've kept within the food groups that are acceptable for keto. And for me, it's been important to do that, not just from a mental perspective, but also from a physical perspective. We have our first caller today on the Xander Gibb Show. Let's bring them on. Can never tell immediately if it's connected. I don't think it did this time. Oh, it did connect. And welcome to the show, our first caller of the day. What's your name, Chet, and where are you calling from?
Well, it is, Chet. I'm lost in the basement with Joe Biden, and it's kind of scary. He called me a dog-faced pony soldier. I don't know what the hell that means, but I think it has something to do with my conservative leaning, Xander.
Really? Did he sniff your hair yet?
No, the thing is, I wear a bandana a lot, so he doesn't like the bandanas, and hopefully it'll keep him away from me at bay.
Yeah.
Right now, he's trying to figure out what state he's in, so I think I'm going to help him out with that.
Well, can you tell him from us that the state is in a damn mess, and he needs to step out of the race, step aside, and let the rightful person do the job for the next 4 years, and that rightful person is Donald J. Trump. If you don't know that and you're watching or listening, then yeah, Donald J. Trump is the one to watch.
Well, he did. In all fairness, he did say that he would beat Joe Biden.
Yeah,
so
he
he
did.
hasn't mentioned Donald J. Trump at all.
No, but he actually he's also said I saw him say we have to be sure to reelect Donald J. Trump. So I mean, those are key statements that saying you're going to beat yourself. I mean, whatever turns you on, Joe. But then saying that we have to do everything we can to reelect Donald J. Trump is absolutely hilarious. So, what of today's craziness has jumped out at you? The thing that I thought was most interesting was AOC, pontificating about wearing a mask and then blowing bubbles through a bubble blower to a kid that was wearing a mask. I mean, is it hypocrisy?
Yeah.
Is it being a Democrat? What the hell is it?
Well, I mean, she's not the brightest bulb in the box, right?
No.
So she doesn't understand when she makes a mistake in front of her following and her followers. They just look past it. But she can do no wrong. I don't know why the Democrats have hitched their wagon to that horse, but they have in a big way.
No pun intended there. No pun intended. To that horse? I think it's more a donkey, but I get the sentiment.
What I'm really worried about right now, Xander, is these two terrorist organizations that are featured all over the news. And of course, I'm talking about Antifa and Black Lives Matter. I was watching this video from a church where these churchgoers were heading in, and a woman with a baby, and they come up and they're screaming at her. She's got a toddler. They've got their masks on. I mean, this is terrorism. How can anybody consider this protest when it's terrorism?
Well, I think the thing that worries me is that even people like Meghan Markle are kind of getting in on this. I saw a video of her recently with Harry because he's no longer a prince, and they were saying how terrible it was, that racism has got to such a stage. I mean, who even knew that woman was black?
Right.
So
well, she's been an issue the whole time over there. So, I don't know how seriously I'm going to take her, but I'm sick and tired about hearing how racist America is when it's not.
Right.
The racism is coming from their side. When you hear them saying you should have white guilt, we're white supremacists, the country's full of white supremacists, all Donald Trump supporters are racist. That's where the racism is coming from. And if people don't nip this in the bud, if that side keeps going down and keeps pushing us, the pushback, like I said, is going to be very bad. And there are going to be very bad actors on the other side as well.
It's coming.
They really should pay attention to what they're doing.
It's definitely coming, and the concern is that they're very anti-gun. And hi, Swoop, welcome to the live feed. Let's not forget that our side of the aisle, we are pro-gun, and a lot of us do carry guns. Obviously, I have to qualify, not myself, because I don't have the right to bear arms in the UK. I don't want the equivalent of the FBI kicking down the door.
That's the thing, though, Xander. People are missing this. They're armed. They are armed. They're armed, and they've shown their hand. We keep saying that we have all the guns. It's not true. They have guns.
Yeah.
They're marching down in Atlanta. It wasn't Black Lives Matter. It was another group. And they were all armed. It looked like all the guns just came out of a box. One of the firearms was actually jammed. You could see it inside the guy's chamber that they
Yeah.
they didn't know what they were hell they were doing. But they're very well funded by all the dark actors, and not just George Soros, all of them that fund these guys, and they're well armed. They are. It's scary.
But are you tired of these uninformed, Hollywood types that are weighing in on all of this, and don't they look so stupid? Because you see, the thing is that I would be supporting this if I felt that racism was that bad either side of the pond. I mean, there is an issue with racism. I don't doubt it, but not to the extent that they're selling it. Hi, Nick. Great to see you back on your main account. It's not to the extent that they're selling it, and to actually sell it from that perspective is disingenuous as far as I'm concerned.
I feel that racism is promoted really by the left. I mean, I don't think that there's a problem with Trump supporters or conservatives who are racist.
No.
When I say there are dark actors on the right, I'm not referring to conservatives. Conservatives don't want to go out and take your rights away from you and threaten your life. We don't want to do that at all. But the point is, there's another fringe group, and there are so many fringe groups on the left. The difference is they align with those fringe groups. That's the difference.
Right.
And,
well,
all this anti-white bullcrap, I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
This anti-white bullcrap is being promoted for a reason. The racism is not on our side.
No, it definitely isn't, and it's not on anyone's side. Because when I see people like Colin Kaepernick saying, "Oh, I've been treated very badly in the USA,"
He's an idiot.
This guy has more money in the bank than probably nearly as much as Soros. Maybe not as much as Soros. But when he claims that the 4th of July is a celebration of racism, to me, that is the biggest load of bullshit ever. Because if it were a celebration of racism, why would we be celebrating that anyway? Most of us are I won't even sit in a group of people, Chad, and let people use the N-word because I'm so offended by racism. So why would we buy into this bullshit?
He doesn't buy into it. None of them do. They're all lying through their teeth, and they know it. The point is they want to keep on promulgating the idea that anybody that sits in line at a Trump rally, anybody that has a Trump hat, anybody that believes in their constitutional rights is a racist. So the best thing to do is not only attack conservative statues and monuments, and by the way, I don't think they should be ripped down like they've been ripped down. If by law we come up with something where they get taken away and put in a museum, that's different. But I don't think anybody should be ripping this stuff down.
No.
And these people say things like, "Oh, the 4th of July is for the racist whites in America." You would not be able to say that anywhere but here.
No.
That's the thing that really ticks me off the most. And I'll tell you something about Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick gets paid $10 million a year by Nike. And what does Nike do? Colin Kaepernick says he's a humanitarian, Xander. Nike has forced child labor building those shoes where he gets paid for by that company.
Right.
So he is full of shit.
Yeah, for sure. And he's just signed another multi-million-dollar contract with Disney. And the thing that really bothers me about that is that all of this is off the back of the fact. Now, I'm the last person to talk about how good a ball player someone is, but, he got to a certain age where he couldn't play ball as well, couldn't run as fast, so they didn't want to hire him. But apparently that was racist. But I'm sick to death of this ideology that if you disagree with someone that is black or someone that is gay, that you're doing it because they're black or gay or whatever minority they want to subscribe to that day. Can it not just be that you're shit at your job?
Well, the thing is, I usually did follow football. I stopped 2 years ago, and I certainly won't be watching it this year. Colin Kaepernick was the backup quarterback when he started all this kneeling crap. The only reason he started with the kneeling is because he was told by a veteran that that's the way that you should protest the national anthem. And he started to do that. I think that it started to get a groundswell where people were starting to pay attention to him, and all of a sudden he was showing up on the practice field with socks that had pigs. The cops depicted as pigs.
Yeah.
And then eventually there weren't any football teams that wanted to deal with his nonsense.
Right.
Because it wasn't worth the trouble for him. It wasn't. And they didn't want to deal with it. And you can't say that you blame him. If he could play like Tom Brady, he would have been signed like 3-4 years ago.
Of course. It's about your skill. It's about nothing else. Nobody cares about the color of your skin nowadays or any of those things. But you know what really bothers me? I'm equally as bothered by people depicting people of color as someone to attack as I am people depicting the police as someone to attack. Because there are some bad eggs among the police, and that's terrible. You know, I watched a video from 2 years ago of this white cop that shot this white kid in a hotel. And he was, you know, basically saying, crawl, put your hands behind your head, you know, and all of this BS. And then when he didn't comply just, you know, with one thing immediately, he shot him. That's disgusting. We should be stamping that out, you know.
I remember that.
Right away. You know, all any cop that is in the job that shouldn't be there, they need to be gone. But they paint this as a systemic problem when clearly it's actually a group of, well, I say a group, it's individual officers. But, you know, I have to say, and this is going to sound terrible, but I don't doubt that it must be very hard for cops not to see a perp and think, not another punk-ass kid that feels like, you know, they kind of own the country. And I'm not saying that's an excuse for them to be shot, but I can see how some would get a little bit of an attitude. Hi to Carla in the live feed.
But the bottom line is, if you comply with the police, you're going to go home the next day. You might have to stay a night in jail.
Yeah.
Now, are there situations where there have been some bad cops that have killed people for no reason? Yes. There have been. There are also bad situations where there have been dentists that rape women that are put on the laughing gas, and on and on and on. There are teachers that are bad, doctors that are bad, lawyers, dentists, you know, the garbage man. You're going to have bad people.
Yeah, in every walk of life.
Bad people exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just the way it is.
Well, I was never interfered with by the dentist, but I was interfered with by Nancy Pelosi once at a political event. She put her hand in my pants, you know, and you know what? I think, you know, I think that everybody should be believed, you know, not just Democrats. Nancy, you fiddled with my wiener, and I hadn't finished eating it. So, you know, it's trouble for you, lady.
And Xander, you want to talk about a line of work where there's a lot of foul players and bad people? How about politicians?
Yeah.
And they're the ones that stand up and whine and cry and complain about our police, who, by the way, give them detail every time they decide to go out with their family or every time they decide to walk to a park like Mr. de Blasio did when he had a driver drive him and his disgusting wife to a park in Brooklyn when they were supposed to be wearing masks like all the other people, and they weren't. You know why? Because they're full of it. They know they're full of it, and they know they'll get away with it because they're Democrats.
Yeah, and the concern is that it's ignored. And you know, if that had been a Republican mayor, he would have been hung out to dry. He would have lost his job. I mean, let alone all the other crap that his wife has pulled. You know, losing all that money. I say losing, misappropriating. You know, we were saying at the head of the show about
$185 million.
Yeah, what happened to the to all of the money that Hillary lost when she was Secretary of State? You know, if I lose $8, you know, or £8. I'm like, where the hell is that gone? Never mind, 8 billion, sorry, in the case of Hillary Clinton. I mean, how come that was never followed through? Come on, Barack Obama, tell us why you weren't supervising your employees. Was it because you were too busy plotting against the United States of America?
And what gives them the right to say anything about the Trump administration when they totally undermined our country the whole time he was in office, including the Clinton Foundation, which started this fraudulent campaign for the Haiti Relief Fund.
Yeah.
And with the hurricane, they took all Xander. They
Yeah.
actually paid for part of their horse-face daughter's wedding with that money.
Wait.
And these people have the right to come out and criticize
They
President
do.
Trump? I don't think so.
They do, but I have to take exception with you. It's only Hillary's daughter because Chelsea's father is Chester Hubble. So please,
That's true.
please tell the truth on this show. That's what we're about, Chet.
What's his name? Wait, what's his name again?
Chester Hubble.
His name's Chester?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, the Chet for, I hope it's not Chet for short. My name isn't Chester, it's just Chet, but a lot of people think it is.
Yeah.
But I'm not screwing Hillary Clinton.
Well, I don't think you've got to that point of death. Wouldn't you have to be pretty desperate? I mean, even Bill turns it down, you know.
Well, if I wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah, even Bill would rather ride on the Lolita Express. Hi to Russ in the live feed who says, Clinton Foundation is a slush fund for the Clintons. Absolutely agree, Russ. And the disgusting thing about the fact that it is a slush fund for the Clintons is that nobody ever does anything about it. You know, ultimately, that needs to be shut down because it's not a charity. Like you said, look at all that money they raised for the Haitians. What was the last disaster? They said, oh, well, we'll collect the money for it. Yeah, right. After what you did with it last time.
And Xander, the worst thing about all that is they were supposed to buy hospital equipment. They were supposed to buy cutting-edge technology for medical equipment over in Haiti, and they never did. And it just fell off the face of the earth. The media made sure they didn't cover it. How the hell can that kind of stuff happen?
Well,
and, you know, the worst part of it all is supposedly the good Democrats, when you say it to them, they're like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. No, asshole. There is a paper trail that you can look at that shows you what they did. Open your eyes.
Absolutely. I want to change tack a little bit because I think it's imperative that we really kind of keep talking about this. I'll tell you who's been on my mind a lot lately, and that's Roger Stone. Because I'm really concerned that, you know, the time is ticking away to the point that he's going to actually have to show up at prison and put himself in prison with murderers, rapists, and pedophiles, and could be potentially exposed to the coronavirus. What the hell is happening about this, Chet? I mean, what can we do? I think the president needs to step in.
Well, we're letting rapists and murderers out in New York because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
You know, they have continuously put some of the most dangerous felons on our streets over here in New York, while the good Democrats say there's not a problem. And there is a problem.
Oh, they're totally
Roger Stone isn't a threat to anyone. He's an old man. You know, he's a decent guy. It's just they want to railroad anybody that was involved with President Trump. And the only thing that Roger Stone was guilty of was not complying with what the FBI wanted him to say.
Right.
And what I mean by wanted him to say is he didn't lie for them.
No. And the thing that scares me about
it, and it's a pretty damn good book too.
The thing that scares me about this is that all of these judges that are handing down these sentences against Republicans, hi Dave, welcome to the show, is the fact that they were all Obama appointees. I mean, why has the judiciary become so politicized that when it comes to conservatives, they get the book thrown at them? The law is the law is the law, and if you've committed a crime, then you deserve to go to jail. But it's not fair that Obama appointee judges get away with this horse shit all the time and end up doing this kind of thing. You know, what they've not just done this to Roger Stone, but they've done it to General Flynn. In fact, I want to urge everybody out there, after the show, go and tweet the president and mention Roger Stone. Hashtag Roger Stone did nothing wrong. Do this for me after the show, because we cannot let this good, you know, he's a good patriot, this guy. And the thing is, for me, he should not spend 1 day in jail. And it's disgusting if he does. And you know what? I'm not dissing the president, because he's damned if he doesn't, damned if he doesn't. But I will be surprised if he doesn't step in at 11th hour and say this is not happening. I'm giving him an official pardon. Because if that was me, I would think, screw it. I'm damned anyway. Because they'll say, either way, they'll say, oh, well, there he is, the president's friend, and he's done nothing for him. So he may as well do
Right.
something for him and get chastised for that.
Yeah, at this point, I guess so what? What, the media's going to attack you? They attack you for walking the wrong way.
Yeah.
And for, combing your hair the wrong way. So is it really going to shock anybody? And, Obama pardoned terrorists. He pardoned somebody that actually bombed some of our military. A lot of people like to forget about that. And he pardoned this guy, this one woman, who killed a state trooper, if you remember her. Her last name was Shakur. She was actually related to Tupac, believe it or not. And when she got pardoned, she ran, and we can't find her. The whole thing stinks around that man in his office, and what we have here is just a totally unfair witch hunt that happened to Stone, that happened to Flynn, who, by the way, Flynn is a hero, okay? He is a great man. He served this country valiantly, and he deserves not one-tenth of what he got, and I'm glad that he's out.
But that bankrupted him?
His record's been tarnished.
Yeah, and it's bankrupted him. He hasn't got a penny to his name, and I think that's disgusting. Right. That as an American that has served the American public all of his life, it's disgusting that he should have had to waste his savings on defending himself on a bullshit lawsuit.
But,
I mean, please.
Well, and Xander, look at poor Chris Saucier.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about somebody that was a young man getting his life started. He had a young family. He had a home. I think he was injured on the battlefield as well. He served honorably, and because he took a few pictures in a mess hall, he got his life turned upside down. His military record is still trashed, which I wish the president would take care of. And his life's never going to be the same.
Well, the problem
and now no one but you really even take a look at him anymore. It's pathetic.
He's booked to come on the show in the next couple of weeks. He's actually become a very succinct political commentator. But they don't even he doesn't even get his military benefits, because although he got a full pardon, the Navy is actually saying that he's not entitled to his full benefits, which is absolutely disgusting as far as I'm concerned. He did 1/1,000,000th of what Hillary did, and he went to jail, but she went on, to run for public office. And even the president said the photos that he took on the submarine were a 40-year-old submarine, and if anybody had wanted to know anything about it, it's out there anyway. Just like yourself, I've become very good friends with the Saucier family as a part of the role in kind of helping to get him in the public eye. And I know, and I'm not going to go into great detail, but they're still suffering because of this. He's kind of getting back into life and getting on with it and doing his job, et cetera, but he's still affected by this. I mean, imagine the PTSD from being separated from your family for a year. His wife and I used to talk on the journey home. It was a 2 and 3 hour drive, and I would sit and talk to her on the phone for the whole period of the drive home, to keep her company. It's absolutely disgusting what they put that family through. And he served his country. It's disgusting.
Absolutely.
He served his country, and this is what they do. They kick him in the head.
It's beautiful that you did that. And anytime President Trump decides to pardon somebody that served the country valiantly, he shouldn't be questioned on his efforts.
No.
Just like he did with Eddie Gallagher, just like he did with Chris Saucier. You see, unlike Barack Hussein Obama, our President Donald J. Trump, loves the military. And it's pretty obvious. And I think the stuff that the New York Times is trying to pull right now is pretty embarrassing. And, for all the good that this man does for the country, he just gets slapped in the face. And it goes to show you, and it does go back to what you're saying. The Obama administration littered our body of politics. They littered our judiciary. They littered our military with all these right-wing coups. They have. And the military has it too, believe me. A lot of what happened to these great men was done by Obama appointees, and if you don't think so, look it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Just very quickly, Russ, just said in the live feed, is it true that Trump could go after a third term because of all the 2016 election crap? I hear people talking about this. I don't think that he could go for a third term because it's not legally possible right now. Although I suppose the rules may be changeable, but I don't think they're changeable on that level because they're so set in stone. You know, I know, what's his name? Hey, Shorty, it's your birthday from New York. You know, the guy who ran for president, whose name I can never remember.
Well, FDR did that. It was changed. Trump's not running for a third term.
No.
Listen, he's joked about it, and he does it just to stoke the liberal meatheads in the media. If he could have done that, believe me, Obama already would have.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, of course. But let's not discount Obama, but we'll leave that for another day. We do have to leave it there, but thank you so much for calling in. Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck, which it goes out 3 to 5 Sundays on, you tell him, Chet.
94.9 News Now, it's stimulating talk.
Yeah.
And you can go listen to it right at freedomondeck.com.
Yeah.
5 Sunday afternoon. Xander's always on with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to one of my good friends, Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. We will speak to you very soon, brother.
Keep fighting, Xan.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you. Don't forget to check out Freedom on Deck this every Sunday, 3 to 5 Eastern Time. My guest tonight, I'm going to start to introduce him, and then we'll talk a little bit with people in the live feed, is political commentator Tony Lusacco, who will be calling us from God's own land, the United States of America. Nice to see some new faces in the live feed and listening to the show. Gina says no. I don't know what she's saying no to. CV says Trump should get a third term because of what the deep state did. Swoop says hands up, ice cream cone, fire. Chit says Bill Clinton's black son. Yeah, he used to follow me on Twitter, that guy. Gina says good call, Chet. Yeah, what about me? I was good too, Gina. Yeah, Dave, I have to take issue with something you were saying about having a root beer float. You know, you're always having something nice when you're on the show. When we're doing the show, you're either having homemade ice cream or you're having a root beer float, and you don't bring enough to share. It's not good enough, dude. Thank you very much, Russ. I'm glad you came to join us. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. I'm very battle scarred right now because I feel like every day as conservatives we are in this battle situation, and I hate the fact that there is this great divide now between Democrats and Republicans, because we're all Americans, and surely it should actually be about us all coming. You know, my ideology has always been, even when I was a Democrat, that the way we will save America is by left and right pulling together. But unfortunately, the left seems to have got to a point where they don't want to come together. All they want to do is divide. And that really bothers me. As an American, as a patriot, it really does feel like we are flogging a dead horse. This should be my guest, Tony Lusacco, calling us from the United States of America. Welcome back to the show. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Xander.
How is the world with you?
Pretty hot here in Florida.
Hot?
Heat.
Heat.
Yeah.
I would swap with you. It rained here today, and it's pretty cold now. But I'm hoping that this heat wave they keep promising for the UK will at least start tomorrow. But we shall see. I want to jump right in because we're always time bound. So last night, Tucker Carlson commented on Senator Tammy Duckworth, a possible pick for Sleepy Joe's running mate, a veteran who lost both legs in Iraq. Duckworth said in an interview with CNN that we should listen to the argument from those who believe monuments to George Washington should be taken down because he owned slaves. Carlson stated that despite her years of service and her sacrifices she's made for the country, he accused her of hating the United States. You're not supposed to criticize Duckworth in any way because she once served in the military. Now, most people just ignore her, he said, but when she does speak in public, you're reminded what a deeply silly and unimpressive person she is. It's long been considered out of bounds to question a person's patriotism, I guess unless they're a Democrat, a Republican, Q Prompter just did a brain fart. Let's just reset that. And a very strong charge, and we try not to make it. But in the face of all of this conclusion, it can't be avoided. Now, these people actually hate America. There's no longer a question about that. Duckworth hit back in a tweet and said, does Tucker Carlson want to walk a mile in my legs and then tell me whether or not I love America? It's easy to think Democrats hate America, given that they care far more about non-Americans. What say you, Tony?
I don't always agree with Tucker Carlson, but when he's right, Xander.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yes, you hate America and you hate when it stands for. When you want to tear down these things, I mean, they did it to Christopher Columbus' statue as well. You can't. I don't remember who said it honestly, but somebody said it good. You cannot erase history, whether it's good or bad.
No.
The people that tear down things and rewrite and erase history, we have words for them. They were called Stalinists. They were called Nazis and worse. You know that, and this is what happens, especially, and it's especially dangerous, I might point out, in the digital age where they are constantly rewriting history books and commentaries. My mom still has the World Book Encyclopedia in print. You'd be surprised what has changed from those print encyclopedias in the 70s and 80s until now if you look at an online thing.
Right.
They are literally changing the words, the definition, the meaning of things, and they're creating new things and changing reality to fit a new picture and calling it a reality. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like they want to kind of rewrite history because nothing will take away these things that have happened, and nor should we try to, because this is how we learn. But you know what really concerns me the most about this? You know, I think Tammy Duckworth is particularly liberal. And when I see her on the TV, I'm sorry she lost her legs, and I'm grateful for her service. But does that mean I have to agree with everything she says? Absolutely not. Hey, Yaz, welcome to the live feed. But what really does bother me is this ideology from the left is that, you know, if you disagree with someone who happens to be black, gay, Asian, or disabled, you're actually attacking them for their differences. Well, I'm a disabled person, I'm in a wheelchair, and I'm openly gay. Does that mean when people disagree with me that they're attacking me? Of course not, because we're allowed to disagree. But what is it about the left's ideologies that makes us think that with every commentary that they hate America?
They hate freedom. They hate freedom.
Right.
Freedom to them is not a commodity that they want. You toe the line, or you do not have a right to exist.
Right.
If they had their way, they would bring back the guillotine. They would bring back the guillotine that would be off with your head if you do not toe their line for what they think you should think and believe and say. Now, if you recall, a few weeks ago, I was on the trip about silence is violence, okay? And I was disgusted and irritated by it, and I unfriended many people. I said, how dare you? How dare you equate me not taking up your cause and going to your protest as violence?
Yeah.
And you justify somebody burning down buildings and businesses and terrorizing people. That's protest now, but me not speaking up for Black Lives Matter is an act of violence?
Exactly.
This is disgusting.
Exactly. So do you think that Tammy Duckworth is going to kind of string this out? Because I kind of feel like she wants She wants Tucker Carlson crucified. And like you say, I don't always agree with Tucker, but I'm sure that there are people that watch this show that think, I don't always agree with Xander. But here's the thing, like you say, when he gets it right, he gets it right.
Yes, and when he gets it right, he gets it right. I remember when he was one of the first to question the science of COVID-19 with the mask, and he was saying the same thing I was when he was saying, so how does a mask magically protect a healthcare worker, but it's not going to protect you? There's something wrong with this picture.
Right.
Sure enough, there was. They were lying. That's what was wrong. He was one of the first people to call that out. So when he's right, he's right. And you know, there's nothing wrong with it. Really, as far as the military goes, do not misunderstand me. I have a great deal of respect. I've never served in the military, I admit. Okay? I have a great deal of respect for the military. But what's got to change in this country is this that if you served in the military somehow you are untouchable. You are a god. First of all, some people didn't even serve in the wars. Okay? And that does not immune you from criticism.
Right.
That does not mean everybody should stand up and salute you. And
for sure,
you've earned a respect. We're grateful for your service to our nation for defending it, but that does not mean you're perfect.
Absolutely. Well, look at what John McCain, people used to say, oh, you can't say that about him. You know, look at all the bad he did. Look at all the dishonest things he did with regards to, betraying America. But, oh, you can't say that because he's a veteran. Bullshit. You know, if you mess up, whether you're a veteran or not, people have the right to criticize you. And I think that goes with everything, whether you're black, whether you're gay, whatever minority you are. If you mess it up, people have the right to comment on it. And that's my kind of take on it. I want to switch stories right now because I don't know if you saw this, but yesterday Snoop Dogg, the rapper with a silent C, posted an Instagram post with the Coon Bunch emblazoned across on images in black and white, of course, of Candace Owens, Herman Cain, Terrence Williams, Trump supporter Angela Stanton King, author David Harris Jr., political speaker Paris Dennard, Pastor Darrell C. Scott, YouTube stars the Hodge twins, and the activist Diamond and Silk. Snoop being Snoop, Snoop being Snoop, he also included an image of a raccoon because he simply labeled it as a coon, which is obviously a racist terminology in itself, and labeled the raccoon with massa. I'm guessing the lives of the above 9 black conservatives don't matter as much on Planet Snoopy as they do the lives of Black Lives Matter activists and others who believe black Americans have no business refusing to dwell on the liberal plantation. I'm also guessing it was different when Snoop used Trump for credibility. I guess this is what happens when you tell a stoner, gang-banging, drug-dealing thug that he can sing. Now, is this inverted racism or is this just racism, period?
Well, you got to be careful when you use the word racism because I was once corrected. The definition of racism, it technically is superiority of one race over another. Does it? Yeah, and yes, you can be racist if you're black. I have seen and heard black people that are racist who believe that, the black race is better or superior to the white race. I've seen white people that are the same way against black people.
Right.
But I don't think it's necessarily racism so much as ignorance, and I actually find it pretty encouraging. Back in the 80s, everybody had to call black people African American. Remember that? Or you were racist. And now it's back to, thank God we can say black again. And if you say African American, now it sounds silly.
Yeah.
The political correctness has gone full swing. I remember the day where if you didn't say African American, you would be crucified. And now it's like if you say that, you're bad. But here's the thing: black, African American, whatever you want to say of people of darker skin, colored people, whatever you want to call it.
Can't say colored
Black
people.
Americans, okay?
Can't say colored
There is
people
a
anymore.
large-
Can't say colored people
What's that?
anymore because you can't say colored people anymore because that's
Oh.
termed as racist now. I know you didn't mean it in that
Okay.
way, but it's termed as such, unfortunately.
Yes, and that's it, right. There's so many terms, and the term changes what's right and wrong. You know, it's hard to keep up with this. Look at the LGBTQ thing. But to get back on track, here's my point. You have Diamond and Self, for instance, okay?
Right.
You have a massive amount of African Americans that are no longer buying into it because
Right.
they are not buying into the far left agenda any longer of saying, feed me, clothe me, think for me, because that's what it's been about. It hasn't really been feed me, clothe me, give me money, get me ahead, get me on my feet, get me independence. It's been think for me, feel for me, and take my vote. Take care of me.
Yeah.
Now, thank God there is an awakening among so many black people saying, nobody's thinking for me. And you know what? I'd rather have somebody be pro-business, pro-freedom, and have me earn my own way and lift me up to the top, rather than hold me down in artificial government programs where they are God and they're making the rules and the agenda, and these things are really designed to keep you feeding from the bottom completely.
Absolutely, because, you know, it's funny when they talk about the Democrat plantation, you know, Democrats really do want to keep black people on that plantation and control. But the only time they're ever interested in black people or their opinions is when they want their vote, because the rest of the time they can, you know, they can go forth and multiply as far as the Democrats are concerned. But I think I think the thing that bothers me, you know, I don't like to quote Oprah, but you know, I remember Oprah saying once that, you know, she hears all these young black males using the N-word, and she says that not even they should be doing it in an ideology of taking it back because of what it represents. So using words like coon, which as far as I'm concerned are akin to the N-word, even if you use a picture of a raccoon, but we know what you're talking about, I don't think black people or white people have the right to use racist terminology, because how can we say it's wrong? So, you know, if I wanted to be particularly rude, shall we say, and I referred to Snoop as a coon, I would be probably kicked off the airways for that. So how is it okay for a black person to use that terminology, but it's not okay for me?
Oh, absolutely. And the biggest problem with this country right now is, and you know, division. I've seen some great libertarian memes about it. You know, if they can get you thinking in terms of left, right, Democrat, Republican, black, white, mask, non-mask, Trump, not Trump, okay? That's what the powers that be, the players want. When we are divided, we fall. When we're too busy arguing things like that and seeing people just in our box, in our category, we're not going to really question the system. Question those in authority and in power that are doing the thinking for us, that are putting these restrictions on, that are feeding us this line of crap constantly. You know, it's like when there's a big news story, the first thing I always do is jump and say, okay, what's really going on behind the headlines? This is what they want our attention on. What are they busy doing behind the scenes while our attention is on this?
For sure. You know? It's all about distraction. Janie just said in the live feed, interestingly enough, she said, like the word cracker. And it just went into my brain, oh, God, I hope they don't, you know, pick on Cracker Barrel now or White Castle. Because is White Castle racist? Because if White Castle is racist, where the hell am I going to go and get my burger fix when I'm in the United States? So it's actually become that academic.
But let me point out something very important, though. Okay? Here's the thing. This is typical Democratic. It's typical Democratic pandering. Okay? It's so much easier to change a name, to fight and say, I'm against White Castle, to tear down a statue, to paint Black Lives Matter on a street and do nothing that really counts for real fundamental change.
Yeah.
As we spoke last week, You know I'm not a fan of Trump on everything, okay? But he did do criminal justice reform. That was a huge difference for the blacks in this country.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. That was all Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian did it all. She signed all the paperwork to get the black people out of jail. I'm obviously being facetious because I'm seeing that on social media. Don't forget that Kim, who's married to Kanye, who's running for Congress, got all of the black people out of jail. No, she didn't get anybody out of jail because, she might have wield a lot of power in the fashion community, but when it comes to the judiciary, she has no power at all. And so to say that she did it is absolute bullshit. But I do take your point. Yes, it was absolutely great that the president did that. We are coming to the end of our time together, Tony. It was really great to talk to you. Tell people where they can find you and talk more about Cracker Barrel.
You can find me on Facebook at The Center. And I have not published any content. It is my new page, but look for it in the future or subscribe to it now. It's called The Center, and it is on Facebook.
Well, we will endeavor to find out where that is and be sure to follow you. But for now, thank you so much for joining us. Tony Lusaco, I'm sure Tony will be back with us next week. Have a great week and a safe week, and give love to Coco. Kiko, even. Coco, that's from Cracker Barrel. That was Freudian.
Politically correct.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye. That was Tony Lusaco, American political commentator. Always a pleasure to speak to him. Thanks for all the birthday love. As I explained at the beginning, it's Zanny G's birthday today. But thank you for all of the birthday love. Thank you to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Thanks to Tony Lusaco from The Center. Go and check him out. Thank you to everybody in the live feed. If you haven't clicked that share button, please do so now. Now I had your fill of the Gibster. You can catch me 5 nights a week. 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 in the UK, and 10 a.m. in Australia. Join us on Wednesday's show for more scintillating chat with my good buddy, the one, the only, Mr. Julio Rivera. I have been Xander Gibb. I really do love you all. Click the share button. Go and follow the Xander Gibb Show page on Facebook. And if you're on Parler, be sure to follow me there, or I'll flirt with your boyfriend. I really do love you all. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were the bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh, yes, sirree.